If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get one of the remote microphones to you. And fully field is available if you want to work when we're done here. Okay, raise your hand. We'll get started.
2 days in, how has practice been this week?
Been good. It was a little slow with the warm fuzzies, we call them. Yesterday, it was they've gone 3 days, I guess. Friday, Saturday, Sunday without the pads popping, so it was a little slow to get going yesterday. But I thought they were better today. They've had good energy, good spirits. I think they really respect this rivalry, and you know we got quite a few kids from the state of Florida. They take a lot of pride in going back down to Jacksonville to play, and they seem excited. So they had good energy.
Hey, Coach, I'm just curious how you've seen this football team under Billy Napier develop over the last 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah, I think they've recruited well. We recruit against them. They recruited well, recruit hard. They have good schemes. They have good coaches. They have great facilities and a great organization. So when you have that recipe, you know, it's just a matter of time. You build it through hard work and discipline, and you can see that in his players. You can see those guys playing with toughness and discipline. Their brand of football is very respectable. You know, you play a lot of the same similar schemes, defensively and offensively, to what we do, things you believe in. So I got a lot of respect for Billy and the job he's done, and I have no doubt that Billy's going to do a great job.
Yeah, Kirby, you mentioned confidence with Dalen Everett a lot. With Julian Humphrey, how have you seen his confidence continue to develop as he gets more and more snaps alongside Dalen and Kamari?
Yeah, he's gotten a lot of work. Like I said, in the last 3 to 4 weeks of practices, he's gotten a tremendous amount. Probably 60 to 70% of his reps have come with the ones, and he gets a lot of work in there with those guys, and he gets better. He used to go against better competition doing that, and I think that's great for his development. He's a talented football player. He's got really good speed, good football instincts, and plays the ball well in the air.
Kirby, you mentioned yesterday about knowing some of the guys on Florida's staff. What do you remember about what Austin Armstrong brought to this program and working with Russ Callaway at Alabama?
Yeah, I work with a lot of those guys on their staff. I think they're really good coaches. They have a great pedigree, and they work really hard at what they do. I have a lot of respect for Russ and his family, and Coach Callaway was here when I first got hired, and Russ is a tremendous coach, knows football inside and out, and was a great husband and father as well. And then Austin was here with us, and he was a really good idea guy, always looking for a better way to do things. He didn't feel limited by his role. He wasn't afraid to speak up and have good ideas, which I think it makes a good young coach when you think that way.
What have Xavier and Marius been able to do so far this week?
Yeah, both guys have been able to take some reps and work. Xavier probably ahead of Mims, which is what we expected. But I was really pleased with Mims. He pushed really hard today and got out there, got some work in, and Truss has been out there, both days.
Kind of a defensive schematic question here. I'm just curious about. They're a pistol football team. When they line up in an even pistol set, how do you set the strength to that, or do you?
Well, it depends on a lot of things. The call, number one, the rest of the formation, because the pistol part of it doesn't necessarily set the strength. The formation does a lot of times. And they change of strength motion a lot. They shift a lot. Have a lot of window dressing on plays and set plays up with that. So we don't worry about the setting of the strength based on the back as much as we do other things.
We're talking to Kamari later today. What have you seen from him as a veteran presence in the quarterback room?
Leadership. He's a kid that's been committed to excellence his whole life. He comes from a great family background, a really tough, hard-working family, and he kind of came up through the mud, man. He didn't get anything given to him. Was not a super highly recruited guy, and he's made himself into a really good player through work ethic. Like he just won't be outworked. He won't be outcompeted, and you love that about a football player.
What have you been able to see from Morgan Jones and Damon Wilson this past, since really the bye week, in terms of getting them further up to speed in a place where they can help this defense?
Well, I think they're in two different spots. You know, like Marvin's a year into the system. He understands it really well. He can play Sam Jack. Could probably play off the ball back or two if he had to. He's got very good instincts and has gotten physically stronger and tougher. He's had two weird deals where he missed games due to injuries, but other than that, he's been really consistent. Damon's younger and has shown great promise. I mean, he's a player that has ascended in the last 2 to 3 weeks in our eyes because he's worked so hard. I mean, he's down there on the scout team, and they're coming in every day being like, "Big Damon's playing so hard down there. He's given so much effort, and he's given us a great look." That, you know, we rewarded him and played him more against Vandy because of the work that he did, and he continued that into the off week and this week. So he's doing a good job.
Coach, where do you, here to the side of you, where do you stand on trying to steal signals? And I know you see on your sideline, you work hard to holding up a sheet and doing everything else. And is it within the game? Is it acceptable, ethical? What are your feelings on that? And what do you see? Have you had a situation where you feel like your signals have been stolen and you knew they were?
Are you referencing the going to people's games, or are you talking about within our games?
Actually, both. Like,
yeah, I never heard of anybody going to games to watch and film and do all that, all the stuff that's going on. Everybody's talking about.
Right.
I don't know anybody that's ever done that, or I've never been asked to do that as a young coach, or known anybody to do that. I've never heard of that. In high school football, you know, I grew up with my dad. We would go watch other teams play. That was part of what you did. You went and watched the other team play. You sat out there with 4 other coaches and you drew up their plays while they were doing it. You know, that was pre-cell phone and probably pre-signals, because they were sending people in with them. The coach would send them in with the signals. That was a long time ago. But as far as in game, I think people try to do that. It tries to go on. You know, as a signal caller, when I had to call defenses, it confused me. If I had to sit there and try to wait on somebody to tell me what they thought they got, and I'm trying to think about what the best call for the situation is, and you're relying on misinformation or something that's not very reliable. So I don't know. I mean, there's times that people have said they've had our signals in game, and you know, they knew this or that, and you know, you talk to the team that you played last, and sometimes when you're not going to play that team again, they share, you know, what they might have had on you and things like that. So I've heard of it in game, but a lot of times you can know the signal and still not do it right. It's kind of the joke we have is, you know what play's coming and you mess it up, and I've laughed with coaches about that before.
I guess the necessary follow-up, that's obviously coming about Michigan. You played Michigan. You aware in retrospect or at the time of anything unusual?
No, I didn't notice anything or know anything. Nobody we talked to, you know, warned us or any of that. I mean, I think everybody we play, they say they steal your signals. I mean, when we play somebody, they always like they're great at stealing your signals, but what they're referencing is different than stealing them. I mean, they're coming in, you know, they're talking about people coming to film them. That's completely different. But we've tried to, you know, hide the signals, hold the calls, put signs up, do all that. But I was nothing I remember about the Michigan game that makes me think that.
What have you made of the development of Arian Smith this season and how he's played?
Yeah, you know, Arian probably had more opportunities earlier in the year as we were down on wideouts for a couple games. You know, guy injured. Lad's been in and out. He's played a lot of the same spots as Lad, and you know, for whatever reason, he probably hasn't had as many opportunities lately. He's had some opportunities that he didn't capitalize on it, and he'd be the first to tell you that. But I'm really proud of him in the role he's played on our team in terms of leadership. He's taken ownership in some special teams units. He's been elite at gunner, and you know, he's part of the reason that we have not given up many return yards. He's been a big major factor in that, and he works really hard after practice on developing us a wideout.
Coach,
just had to ask you about Dara Smith, lately, kind of what's the situation right now?
Yeah, same as we talked about before, he's just not with us right now.
Kirby, do you like the college replay review system, or have you guys on the rules committee talked about maybe going to a challenge system?
What would be the advantage of a challenge system?
NFL, less,
But now it's on me,
yeah.
so now you're gonna criticize me, and I gotta make the call.
I didn't criticize you either.
Well, not really. You can't criticize me now because they review every play.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
the
more
argument is,
accurate.
does that slow down? the
Yes,
game?
100% it slows down the game. That argument is correct. But the flip side of that for the coaches is, so you want me to decide, and you want me to decide when to do it, and you want me to burn one of my timeouts, and I don't have the same information that you have. They have the information up there. They have the ability to review every play. Now, should they review every play? A 1 yard spot in the first quarter for 5 minutes, or they give us the numbers. It's 53 seconds average review time. Is it worth that for that 1 yard? Probably not. But if you're telling me I got to go throw that flag or not, like the NFL does every time, I don't know. It would definitely speed the game up to not review. But you would have a lot of controversy after the game, is what you would have. And theirs get reviewed for, the critical plays, inside 2 minutes, scoring plays, all those things. And once you add all that in, every turnover, it's kind of like they're reviewing the ones anyway, and then it gets off the challenge flag. It would just keep us from having to review, I don't want to say things that aren't relevant, but things that might not affect the outcome of the game.
Hey Coach, when you're watching Florida's offense on tape, I was just wondering if you had any inclinations on what they do well offensively that you guys feel as a defense that you need to take away the most.
Yeah, they run the ball really well. They have great backs. They have a quarterback that's extremely hot and accurate. He knows exactly what he's doing in the system. He understands how to do it. They've gotten their tight ends involved in the last couple of weeks and done a great job of that. They block physical on the perimeter. They take shots down the field that are set up through their play action, and they spread you out and do a really nice job. So they're a complete offense. It's not like, if we take this away, they're one-dimensional. They have big wideouts. They have a really big physical offensive line. They got a quarterback that really understands, okay, if this is not there, I'm doing this. And he can run. So they're a very complete offense, and they're very methodical. They don't. It's not like they're sitting out there on 100 miles an hour. They know what their plan is, and they execute it.
Yeah, Coach, I'm curious, with your consistent bye every year, and Florida being this week every year, with that level of consistency, do you think it provides any type of advantage to your program? Like, we know when our bye is going to come, type of a deal?
I don't see how it can provide an advantage because you know when your bye is. I mean, I think everybody kind of knows when their bye is. Like the years I was at Alabama, it was before LSU. I mean, it's not an advantage. I mean, you might argue it's an advantage if you have a bye and someone you're playing doesn't. I've had that strategy before, but you've also could say you lose rhythm. You worry about your guys getting out of shape because they're going to take a break over that weekend. So you get your legs back, but you also may have 6 guys come back in overweight. And that can be a detriment to your rhythm of your team. So I don't put a lot of thought into where the bye falls because I don't have a lot of control over it.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.